The Hornets have hired a new coach, a league source confirming to WCNC Charlotte that they're bringing in Warriors assistant Kenny Atkinson. Of course, that's once he's done with the NBA Finals. Here to discuss is Locked On Hornets podcast co-host Doug Branson. Doug, it was down to Atkinson and D'Antoni. Why do you think they went with Atkinson?
Oh, I think that Atkinson, they were searching for a new voice, right? Someone that could come in and give them something a little bit different than James Borrego in terms of tone and demeanor. And I think that's what you're getting with Kenny Atkinson. He's someone that is super intense on the sidelines and reportedly behind the scenes too. Someone that demands accountability on both ends of the floor, not just offensively, but also defensively. So I think those are some of the differences, but you also have to look at the similarities. In Brooklyn, when he was the head coach, a lot of the same offense that you're seeing from the Hornets now. And you got to love the fit because Kenny Atkinson was dubbed the point guard whisperer for all of his success that he had with guys like Jeremy Lin, D'Angelo Russell, who became an all-star in Brooklyn, Aaron Brooks, who got Most Improved Player award when he was an assistant in Houston, and Jeff Teague, who improved significantly while he was in Atlanta. And so for all of those reasons, I think he's a great fit in Charlotte, and he's a great fit for LaMelo Ball.
So, Doug, a lot of people are saying, and I think it is fair in some senses, what is the difference between Atkinson and the coach you just fired, James Borrego? But there are differences. Can you spell those out for us?
Yeah, and I think the big similarity is obviously they have a great player development background, but I think the expectations are going to be different for Kenny Atkinson because this is his second stop. Okay, he got to a playoff. He got to one playoff appearance in Brooklyn, but because of injuries, there were a lot of different things that went wrong in Brooklyn. But he doesn't have the sort of head coaching record success, and so I think the expectations are going to be a lot different for Kenny Atkinson than they were for James Borrego. It's sort of an extended look at what you saw in that last season for James Borrego. But going back to what I said, I think tone and demeanor, I think intensity. This young team, I think, needs a voice that can come in and make them annoying, make them difficult to play against. I don't think you could say that for that team last season, and I think that needs to start at the top, and I think Kenny has a good chance at making them an annoying team.
All right, Doug, how about the timing of this? James Borrego fired April 22nd. It is now June 10th when the Hornets, basically for better, lack of a better term, they announced their coach. June 19th is when a 7-game series would wrap, and we're taping this before Game 4. We don't know if that's going to happen. And then June 23rd is the draft. So, I mean, it's probably not the biggest deal, but that's quite a tight turnaround for a new coach.
Certainly is, but I think you have to like the fact that it was a deliberate search. It was a multi-level search. It wasn't like they sort of zeroed in on one name. I think they went through a process that ended up being a 3-interview process that ended with both Mike D'Antoni and Kenny Atkinson getting a close look and a meeting with the owner, Michael Jordan. But they also interviewed a lot of assistant coaching candidates, a lot of hot names out there, including Sean Sweeney, Dallas Mavericks, including Darvin Ham, who eventually went over to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So there were a lot of names. It was a deliberate process. You get a coach in before the draft. I think that's extremely important. This is somebody that's going to, especially because he's a player development coach, right? I mean, that's what the draft is all about. You want some information coming from Kenny Atkinson heading into the draft, but plenty of time. And honestly, there are going to be a lot of decisions made this offseason. It's not just about the NBA draft for this Charlotte Hornets team. So, Kenny Atkinson now is the head coach, and he's got an opportunity to have a say in all of those decisions.
Atkinson and LaMelo Ball. What do you see in that pairing? You talked about, point guard whisperer, point guard guru, because really as LaMelo goes, this franchise and the window that it's currently in goes as well.
Yeah, I think it's all about the fact that his style, the things that he brings to this organization offensively, fit with what LaMelo does best, which is play with pace and space the floor, move the basketball. Those were all qualities that were evident in Jeremy Lin's game and Russell's game, in Jeff Teague's game. And I think that one of the big things that LaMelo could probably improve on offensively is he's a great distributor, makes amazing passes, much better shooter than anyone I think thought he was going to be coming out of that draft. But the one thing that he could probably do a lot better at is finishing inside. And that was something we saw Jeremy Lin excel at. Obviously, D'Lo LaMelo is a great finisher inside. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to seeing, if Kenny Atkinson can just give a few tips, pointers, strategies, things that LaMelo Ball can look at to help his 2-point percentage. Because if he increases that, all of a sudden he is a serious threat, not only with the pass, but also with his ability to generate points. And that could take his game from all-star to superstar.
All right, Locked On Hornets, a daily podcast about your Charlotte Hornets. You guys are going to have a lot to talk about next week. And Doug, you wear so many hats over there at Locked On. In fact, I can see them all behind you right now.
Literally and figuratively.
Doug Branson, thanks for joining us.